I'm going to be showing you how to use Evernote. It's a fantastic digital note-taking system whereby you can take individual notes or you can add notebooks. This will really help you for your planning of your assignments. So first of all, you need to download Evernote. It has I'm going to draw your attention to the bottom here, a green elephant icon, which will help identify this for you in your app store. It's free. You can use it across a couple of devices as long as it's free. I'm using it on a Mac and I've got it on my iPad, so the two sync together, but obviously you can also use it on Windows PC as well. So I'm going to show you how to create a new notebook. I like to keep all my notes together within one area for an assignment, so you can click on the plus button, new notebook. This is obviously once you've signed in and created your own passwords and stuff. So I've got one here that I've made earlier. So this is module 2 assignment notes. This is for something that I'm working on as I speak. So I'm going to double click on there. And what you've got here is a range of different notes. Now at the top you've got these titles. These are the individual notes that are stored within my notebook for assignment notes for module 2. So you can either view these at the top, which is my preference, or you can click on the button over here and you can view options. They're different view options, but if you want them at the side, you can have them at the side as well. So if I click on one of the notes to start with, I'm going to use main argument structure. So this is basically the order that my assignment is going to go in, and there's been lots of iterations to this. That means changes as I've been taking my notes, because as you'd expect, your argument tends to change the more reading that you do. So this is going to help me plan the work, my writing, and for each of the areas then I'll go into one of the different individual notes up above here. So I have actually got notes that aren't particularly relevant as I've gone on and I've changed my mind of how it's going to go, and then I'll just sort of start deleting them as I go along. So if I pick up my introduction material here, what I've got here is a range of notes from a variety of different sources that I've been reading, and I make a note of the reference as I go along, and more importantly the page number as well. So here I have a range of different, as you can see, references. Okay, these are all direct quotes. They've got page number on. If I've written anything in my own words, if I scroll down to here in a US study, that's in italics. That to me denotes that is in my own words, and what you can see is you've got a range of different things in the bar that you'll be used to, similar to Word. I think the overall advantage of using this rather than just Word means that you can break your notes down into chunks and just focus on particular areas. And what often happens is that you need a lot of copy and pasting within your own notes. They can get all messy, and for me they no longer work, not particularly on important assignments. So just to show, I've been taking notes, particularly I use electronic notes. I use electronic reading materials, so PDFs, journals, ebooks in the main, because I'm able to do a lot of copy and pasting, but I can also use physical books and type my notes in here as well. So just to give you an example, I'm going to go into PDF here. If I go into this, if I wanted to pick something that I thought was important, if I just highlight here, I can copy, Control and C, and I can add that to, I'm going to add it to the bottom here of my notes. I'm going to Control and V, that's pasting, and now I've got some information that I can use for my assignment. And I'm just going to put at the bottom, it's Selwyn, I know the date is 2017, and I need the page number, so I'm going to flick back, look at the bottom there, 129. That means I will not forget where that's come from, and part of my role will be to ensure that I use that information in line with the other notes that I've taken as well, so I might be paraphrasing that later. Obviously, what you'll notice, I did start putting references at the bottom of notes, but now I've stopped that and I've started a new note page, which I'd recommend everyone to do, called references. If I go on here, you'll notice that all of my references, there's quite a lot on here, in here. You'll notice also that some are in bold, some are not. The ones in bold, that means I've used those in my assignment today, so they definitely need to go onto the final reference list. The ones that aren't in bold, they just haven't been used yet, and what will happen is I'll start colouring them red if I decide that I'm not going to use them. If I go back to another note page, so that's introduction material, you'll notice, so again, the areas that are used in bold means I've used it in my essay. That means when I go back over my notes, I don't need to go back over those ones again. It makes it easier to identify what I've used and what I haven't. The ones in plain black I haven't used yet, and I've identified the ones that I don't want to use. I've decided, you know what, I've made a change to my assignment, I don't feel that I need this particular note. I put it in red. That means I don't need to use it. Obviously you can delete it if you want, but I wanted to keep everything that I had done. So I can go show you another note page. As you see, I've got some areas that they're headings for me, with more additional, and as you'll see, as I've gone through each of the individual notes up here, I've started to use them as I go along. And what happens is, as you start piecing your assignment together, you'll know whereabouts they might need to go if you decide actually that doesn't quite fit there. And that is basically it. It works really well, particularly useful if you're writing at least 3,000 word essays, and you're just doing a little bit of work, you're collating some notes before you even start writing, and you want to pop them somewhere. Evernote is a fantastic option to use. If I wanted to add another note within it, I've got add note here, as I mentioned. I can also share my notes if I wanted to. I can share the whole notebook, or I can share the whole just the particular page if I wanted to. You can add a message, add the email address, and share a link if you wanted to. I don't particularly need to do that, but there are lots of different options. It does say for you automatically, it backs up. It's a really good system. It's one of the best. If you Google it, have a look at different electronic note-taking systems, and you'll see that Evernote will come up first or second across pretty much every review system that you'll come across. I wish you well. Let me know how you get on with it. Thank you.